Hello there, Libras. So, when I shuffled out the cards, I had two images that came out for you. So let me just relay them. The first thing that I saw is I see this woman. It seems like she's done a lot of cleaning, or she's doing something where there's a lot of dust that has gathered in her hair. And I'm getting like a 1950s housewife type of a vibe with her. And I'm not seeing any kids or, anything like that, but I feel like, she's almost wearing like a bathing suit and she's like jumping in the pool, trying to cleanse just the energy, the debris, the dust out of her skin, out of her hair. And so she jumps into the water and then she sort of, finger combs through her hair just to get all the grime and the dirt and just all the unsavory things out of her body. Okay. So that's a really nice image. And then later on, I see this same woman. She's in front of it's funny because the first image is like very 1950s based on her swimsuit. And then the second image that I saw is it's almost futuristic. Okay, she's got like a white bathrobe on. She has like her hair bundled up with a white towel. So she must have taken a shower or something. And then she's in front of her she's sitting down on her sofa and she's turned she like presses a button and these two hologram images came out. One image is it's showing me like the skyline of a really metropolitan, very big city. It looks almost like New York. It looks almost like it could be Tokyo. It just looks like there's a lot of life, there's a lot of people, there are a lot of shops, there's just a lot of energy. And then the other, so that's on the left side. The right side is another hologram of another city. It seems like a smaller town or like a medium or smaller size city where there aren't skyscrapers, there aren't large buildings, there aren't, traffic and congestion, and there's just not a lot of people or even opportunities. And so she's kind of weighing out these two options. So going back to the first message that I feel here, I feel like for many of you, I know you've been working really hard, okay? And you've been stacking up the coins and you've been, trying really hard to be self-sufficient, to take care of yourself. And I almost feel like this sense where many of you you might be on the younger end age spectrum watching this. You're finally on your own, taking care of yourself, being financially independent, or even in a situation where you have a lot of freedom, a lot of movement, and a lot of control over the trajectory of your life. Hence, you're in a position where you're able to make choices. Where do I want to be? What's the next step for me? Where do I want to go? What career should I pursue? So everything is almost like a blank canvas, and you can choose to do anything that you want to do. And so I feel like many of you are in a position where you have ended a major chapter in your life and you're thinking about the next step. Okay. And then I also feel for others of you, you might be a little bit more on the older end, and by old, I don't mean like, it's just career wise. Many of you are kind of like on the older end of the spectrum where you're also thinking about publishing. You're thinking about the next evolution, the next stage, the next phase of your life. And you're also thinking about, should I contemplate relocation? I see people who are like the end of their 30s going into 40s, and you're just like, I don't know, the big city life is not really doing it for me. I do want to, settle down in a place that is a little bit more calm, that has less congestion, that is a little bit more suburban. So I feel that element coming into the picture where you're tired and you're just kind of like emotionally you're done with the nightlife, the night scene, the big cities, the metropolitan dynamics of the city, and you want a little bit more of a quiet, low-key existence. Okay, it's like getting back to the necessities or getting back to the bare minimum when it comes to your existence. So that's what it feels like to me. And we have some cards here. The first card, I like this card a lot. It is the Six of Swords, but I like the way that it's pictured science. So Libras, this is what I usually think of. This is like the Libra card for me. Many of you are very, very good when it comes to numbers, when it comes to the biological sciences, even when it comes to the physical sciences. I feel like you guys, of all the air signs, you guys are the most or are the least scattered of all the air signs. You guys are the most systematic. You guys are almost like the scientist of the zodiac, the way that your mind works. It's almost like you need evidence, you need proof in order to be persuaded on a specific course of action. And so, you're very good at balancing out the facts. You're very good at seeing both sides of the story, mainly because you believe that there are two sides, there are multiple facets, there are multiple possibilities when it comes to, a situation. And because of that, you guys are, the way your mind works is very systematic, it's very organized, and you're able to process a lot of information and to consider a lot of different, viewpoints, different things, different like factoring in different considerations when making a decision. And because of that, many of you you have the mind of a scientist. I see a lot of people who might be shifting into some type of a scientific endeavor. And if this is something that has brought you a lot of strife, or, I do see like competition when it comes to like the demands of the work environment, or being in a work environment where people are a little bit cutthroat or a little bit more competitive or a little bit more self-serving or a little bit more like, wanting to hog the limelight. And I also feel like many of you are put in this position to really test your willpower, to really test your assertiveness, and to really test your ability to stand up for yourself and your ability to like not be a doormat to other people. Okay, so I feel like it's an environment that might be a little bit more intellectually inclined, almost like an academic environment. Some of you might be in school and you're facing people who are almost like they try to intimidate others with their intellectual prowess. They might talk down on other people because other people might not be as smart or might not be as articulate. And I feel like in this environment, I'm sensing that many of you are getting upset and you're kind of like the champion for the underdog, or you are not one to be intimidated in this environment because once again, your mind is very, very sharp and you're able to spot these intellectual bullies and to give them, a piece of your mind or a taste of their own medicine. So I definitely feel a situation here where things have been a little bit tenuous when it comes to, intellectual power or intellectually dealing with people who might be trying to dominate you, who might be telling you what you should do, who might be, giving you some type of a restriction or a restrictive environment to work within. And I feel like, you're able to challenge that structure and you're able to come out on top. Okay, so I definitely feel like it's almost like they have underestimated your ability to kind of like fight when it matters. Okay, like not taking a situation at face value, not being a doormat, not cowering in the face of fear. So I feel like, there was a situation where people underestimated you, your ability to fight back. And I also feel like in challenging the authority or the existing confines or the restrictions placed upon you, you have also come into your own sense of power. And you have also, I also feel like many of you are just like, I'm really glad I did that. It was so scary. It was so scary to stand up to an opponent. But I'm very, very glad that I did that. And, having done that, that was like the hardest battle of my life. And I feel like, now I can do anything. So I definitely see this fire energy, defending what you believe in and not cowering away from somebody who might be a little bit bullyish, and not, like not, it's like you might have been conflict avoidant for quite some time. And this is a situation where you're just like, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm going to stand up for myself. So the energy that you bring to the table is, I have here the Prince of Wands. This is like the Knight of Wands in this deck. And what it says here, especially with this card, moving ahead, blasting through obstacles, and especially being in a situation, the lion figure. It's somebody who's very, very courageous. It's somebody who would defend their honor, their beliefs, their rights, and it's somebody that, no one would be able to trample on them. So your energy is very much about, moving ahead, but at the same time, not taking no for an answer, and being able to defend yourself, take care of yourself, and to move forward, okay? So whatever obstacle that has been laid out in the past, we have Six of Swords, moving on to a more stable environment, letting go of whatever conflict that has been, plaguing you in the past. I see this cleansing energy going back to, the sawdust in the woman's hair, the dust and the grime and just the messiness of this. She jumps in the water, she cleans herself from it, and she's able to let it kind of like wash away from her. You came out of a situation clean. Okay, you didn't have to revert to underhanded tactics. I feel like you just stood up for yourself. And as a result of it, I feel like whatever, it created a breakthrough, and it created a window of opportunity where you're able to kind of move away from it. Okay, what is coming in for you here? We do have change in geographical location, possibly movement that's happening. Physically picking up all of your things and moving to a better environment. I do see as well geographical locational changes. It's coming out here in the world, and this is coming in as your advice. And the world is usually, allowing yourself more opportunities to expand, and being in an environment that might be brand new for you. And it's coming in after the Ten of Wands, which is physically, Ten of Wands, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, is the man holding the 10 wands trying to get to his home. This is sort of like purging, getting rid of belongings or things that you don't need, in order for you to put things that you need, the essential items, in neat little boxes, so that you can move away, so that you can relocate, so that you can kind of simplify your lives in preparation or readying yourself for a move. I feel like you're just imagining things at this point. You're trying to find that next step. You're trying to find that next opportunity. You're trying to find that next city as well. But in the meantime, while you're looking for the next phase in your life, some of you are definitely downgrading, downsizing, getting rid of non-essentials, and really trying your best, trying your hardest to, make yourself physically ready whenever the opportunity strikes, okay? So I definitely see lots of momentum, lots of drive, lots of ambition from your end to move things along and to get things kind of like started for yourself, okay? I feel like this new burst of power, it had to come in when it did, because it's showing you how strong you are when you vehemently fight for something. And it also shows you the extent to which you are willing to go when you believe in something. And even if a really strong, powerful opponent wasn't in agreement with you, and it was like, I feel like it might have been a very difficult process, okay? And I feel like, you're thinking back on it and you might even get flashbacks. You might even get some, like PTSD. And I don't like to use that word lightly, but that's what I'm sensing here. It was a situation where when you were in it, the adrenaline was pumping. Your mind was racing, like 100 miles a minute. you're trying to find the right argument, the persuasive argument, or you're trying to find ways to verbally defend yourself. I don't see many of you were in any physical danger, but I feel like it was like an intellectual, a big intellectual face-off where you had to use reason in order to prove a point. And it was a situation where you look back on it and you're just like, oh, I don't ever want to go through that again. But you realize how strong you are. And you realize that, you know what? There are things that I will not tolerate. Now I know myself better. Now I know that I don't have to be, conflict avoidant. Now I know that I need to kind of like take care of myself. And so I see this maturation process when it comes to, our ability to speak our truth, our ability to kind of like use our knowledge, use our mind, use our sense of your own sense of it's like you're using all of your strengths in order to kind of like move things in one direction. So it's not so much about, seeing both sides of the coin. It's kind of like, no, my way or the highway. And you rarely get like this. So I feel like this was something that you personally believed in. Somebody opposed you and you were so wrapped up in it. And I feel like for a good reason, because you truly, truly believe in it. And you truly believe in your course of action, and you've thought things out. You saw both sides of the coins, and you're just like, no, they're wrong. And so you're going to fight this, or you have fought it to the tooth and nail, and you're coming into a lot of success and a lot of victory. Okay. So the universe is telling you you're on the right path. This situation needed to happen. It was cataclysmic. I feel it. And I feel like, it's not something that you want to go through again. And you're vowing to not put yourself in a situation like this because it feels really uncomfortable, right? And so you did the right thing. Good things will come out of it. You might not see that right now, but good things will come out of it. And you're going to be victorious. All right? So that's what I'm seeing as the energy that's coming through for you. Trust in the process. Trust in the process, and trust that you're going to be fine. Okay. Let me see here in terms of. I keep getting like a 6-month type of an energy, so that's going to bring us into. Let me see. We are in. Let's just say we're in February right now. I'm doing this on the 30. I think it's the 30th. Yep, today's the 30th. So January 30th. So that is going to be like the middle of March, where there's going to be success coming through. I do see geographical relocations. I see new work. I see new projects that are going to be available for you. Okay. I have here the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles, in this deck is the princess, but this is kind of like the student, the learner, somebody who's gathering knowledge, somebody who might be doing an internship, somebody who might get paid, possibly working as a contractor, working as an intern, working as a trainee, or training, getting some type of a training, some type of a certification, or doing something where it's going to really enhance your income generating opportunities. Okay. So for this month, what's coming through is we do have a job here that's going to be available for you. I also feel like by that mid-March timeframe, there's going to be new jobs that will pay more. And so if you are applying for multiple jobs, and you're just like, oh no, I have to take this job because nothing else is coming in, I feel like new things are going to break open for you in the late March timeframe. So by all means, even if this job right now that's being offered to you, if you have to take it because you're afraid, definitely take it. And then continue to seek for more work, because I feel like the middle of March, more things are going to be made available. Okay, so this is a temporary situation. So you definitely can accept this and move into this energy, but don't give up your dreams. Keep applying, okay? Because you're going to be met with a lot of success. Yeah, so don't feel bad about having to take this job, even if it's only for 6 weeks, because I feel like, you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. You've been through a lot, and I feel like you need this because it's bringing stability for you. And if stability is what's required to have stability and peace of mind for yourself, definitely do it. Okay. So aside from that, let me shift the energies away and going into this bottom row here. So these four cards indicates more love relationships and the partner you're dealing with if you are in a relationship, or even the energies of the person that you're dealing with. What I have here is I see a situation where there is a lot of conflict. We have here the Tower. We have interference as well as failure. And I do feel an energy of somebody who has a little bit of an anger issue, somebody who's not staying calm, somebody who's sort of like, I've had enough. I see like heated discussions between two people. And I also feel like the same conversations or the same arguments are going back and forth between two people. So I feel like, for some of you, this might have been kind of like a troublesome or problematic relationship that is kind of like on its way out. Okay. And I feel for many of you, this is not news to you. This is not something that you're just like, but my relationship is going so well. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like this is a situation where it might be as well, you've moved away from this person and they keep trying to reel you in. They keep trying to approach you with inflammatory communication, where they try to reel you back in, where they are trying to prevent you from leaving, or they're trying to, create obstacles, or I'm sorry, create arguments or pick at the same arguments over and over and over again. So it's a situation where you're not able to get peace of mind. And I do feel like there might be a relationship that's like a relationship that's on the rocks. And whatever you decide to do, I almost feel as if the passion is also dimming in this relationship. Okay. So it seems to me as if it's kind of like on its way out. For some of you, I feel like you're dealing with someone who has a lot of pride, who's very, very, very stubborn, and who is demanding quite a bit more attention from you. They want more communication, they want more contact. They might revert to, attention seeking type of behavior, such as, oh, you never call me anymore, you never text me anymore, where have you been? You don't love me. Like they're feeling very insecure, but they have so much pride that they would never, admit that they're insecure. Like, do you still love me? Why haven't you been around? Why haven't you been contacting me? You've been busy with things. And so they might revert to, that type of an attention seeking behavior. And they're not doing it in a very harmonious way. Okay. I also feel like some of you might be in a relationship where you're no longer feeling the passion and the chemistry, and you're starting to weigh out your options. Do I stay or do I go? Do I continue to commit to this a little bit more? Do I try to fix this relationship? Do I try to revive? Or is it kind of like rounding out the cycle, or is it the end of the cycle? And so I don't see you making this decision this month, but I feel like it's heavily on your mind. I feel like you have a lot of things that you're considering. It's work, relocation, family, even communication coming through. And so I almost feel like this relationship or this crush or this situation might just be existing. You're not really feeding more energy into it because you're trying to stabilize other areas of your life. Okay. So let me see if I can clarify the Tower here for you guys. So what I have here is the Hangman. Lack of a resolution, a situation that's going around and round in circles, and we don't really know how to find a solution, nor can we just kind of extract ourselves from it. So it's like hanging in limbo, and it's still kind of existing. We have here your Nine of Cups, happiness. And this is pretty much a situation where I feel almost like, on the one hand, you have a partner that really, I feel like they care about you. They want to be with you. They need more time from you. They need more attention from you. And in a way, whenever we're with somebody that really wants to be with us, and they express it verbally, or they express it emotionally or physically, however they express it, it can feel very, very flattering. And so you might not want to leave a person because you feel like they really need you. So it's kind of like a little bit of an unbalanced, but also codependent type of relationship where somebody, this is the devil, where somebody, one person needs the other person. And in the process of needing the other person feels wanted and needed. And so they stay, even though the connection might not be 100%, full on like joyous and perfect, but it just feels as if the connection is at least stable, or you just feel like I have to revisit this situation another time when I can see it clearly. Okay, so I feel like many of you are taking the time to really contemplate these things. So I hope that the reading is helpful for you guys. I know it's not much of a resolution, but you have some good things coming through. Put this situation on the back burner. Take care of other areas in your life, okay?